Hi, it's Jasmin. You know, that girl who did you know what way before the internet ever existed. Join me and my special guest every week as we talk about anything and everything because nothing is too taboo. So punch your ticket and get on board the Krazy train with me, Jasmin St. Clair. All aboard! Welcome to a brand new week of the wildest ride in the whole universe, Krazy Train with Jasmin St. Clair. So for those of you who want to watch the madness instead of just listening to it, make sure to subscribe to my official YouTube, which is at Krazy Train Podcast. And there'll be some live streams coming up over the next few months, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay updated on all the great stuff. So, for today's guest, this is definitely another person I think that has been a victim, that's right, I said the V word, victim of cancel culture. A lot of you might remember him from the 90s and other, infamous stories out there. There are occasionally times when I tell someone, I hope your dick falls off. But in this guy's case, it's definitely not funny and not cool. So let's welcome to the show John Wayne Bobbitt and get his side of the story. Thank you so much for joining me today, John. This has been forever. I know I met you years ago at the Sahara in Vegas. You look the same, by the way. You really do.
Yeah, I try not to age that much. Try to stay busy. I don't know.
Yep.
So how you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been meaning to catch up with you for the longest time because I was watching TV, right? And I threw the remote at the TV set several times because I'm watching this entitled woman talking about her victimization. Then I researched your case more. I actually knew some girls that were in the movie that you did, the infamous film, which I got to ask you about in a minute. And I'm like, I got to reach out to John because I want to know exactly what happened. But before we go there, you did a porn film, and there are so many average guys out there that would have killed to have been in your place. I mean, a zillion guys. But weren't you nervous being on set with these girls? I mean, they were gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous.
Well, yeah, in the beginning I was kind of nervous, but I think it was more of a retaliation type thing, and then I knew I had to get in the character, and it's something that I had to do. So. It wasn't something I was prepared to do or I was even ready to do, at the time because I wasn't even healed yet when they were doing the films. So they, there was no Viagra back then, so they had to do they had to do a drug called prostaglandin. You had to inject it. It was an injection in your groin. So that was hard. That was hard to do. Because you're on set and you're trying to perform with all these girls, and you know how girls are and guys is they turn you on or they don't, So it's so some girls I didn't need it, some girls I did, so. They had a guy, some gloves and a needle, and it poked me right in the, poked me in the pecker.
See, I thought it was done at the base of the penis because I had an ex that did that
Yeah.
years ago, and this was in Brazil, and they were using it on a porn set there. One guy got an injection. His hard-on lasted for 36 hours. He had to go to the hospital to get it drained out.
Yeah. Wow. Well, longest I had sex on film was 12 hours. 12 hours straight.
Ow.
But she had to keep taking breaks, but she loved it. It's wow, it's awesome. 12
Yeah, it was an
hours straight.
interesting movie.
But
Huh?
but that's when Viagra came out later, not soon after my films. Viagra came out. Yeah.
Wait, you did more than one film? I thought you just did one.
Well, two films. Yeah, they were novelty.
Yeah, I remember I saw Frankenpenis. I had a friend in that movie,
Yeah, John Wayne Bobbitt
Tiffany
Uncut and
Lord.
Frankenpenis. Tiffany Lords.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
the one. That was the one. But I'm
no,
glad
she
he
was in.
did that.
Yeah, she was in
Huh?
Uncut. She was in Uncut, and
Uncut.
Nina Hartley was in the other film. Nina Hartley and um, dang, I forgot all of their names. Wow.
Crystal
Uh,
Gold, Tiffany Lords, Jasmine Aloha.
that was the first movie. Second movie was damn, who she was a big porn star too. Dang.
Yeah, I'll have to look this up, but I just remember the first one. Now, we all know like the events leading up to there is one-sided, and I think that too many people become a victim, right? And a lot of men these days have become a victim to this whole Me Too movement. So some people, are real victims out there. But in this case, I feel like your situation is similar to that of Joey Ryan, who's a wrestler, Teddy Hart, who's a wrestler, and I always take the guy's side in these cases because there's another side to this. So, my theory, and just tell me if I'm wrong, when I saw the whole thing, my theory was that, excuse my English, I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. That bitch is up to no good. That bitch was at the nail salon or the hair salon, was talking to her friends, and she still needed to keep whatever benefits she can get from marrying you, whether it's health, green cards, whatever the fuck. I genuinely believe that you cared about her as a human being because I would not put up with a psycho.
I think that's why she chose to go to the Marine Corps ball, because that was a great opportunity for a foreign girl from another country to marry, and not only because you got marry a military guy, you get everything's taken care of, your medical, your housing, everything's taken care of. And women need to be taken care of, and find a man to provide protection, be a protector and provider, you know. So um, I you know it's kind of like a poster marine. But when she asked me to marry her, I was more like a playboy. I was I worked out all the time. I was like you know I guess back then I was okay looking, and I don't I wasn't ready to be married. She asked me to marry her, and I was like, well, because she wanted to stay in the country, and her mother was there, and you know and I said, okay, well, we talked to my parents, and I talked to my parents, and they said not to do it and not to get married. So, um, anyways, I gave in and married her. You know, I was married three times.
Sorry to
I
hear
never,
that.
I was married three times, and I never proposed. I never,
So wait a
I
second.
never proposed.
I'm sorry, she proposed to you. I'm just backtracking on this. That's like so untraditional. I would never stoop to that level. The stripper at the bachelorette party, that's one thing. That's Vegas. But this is just like a whole other level of fuckery. Like, that's kind of like conspiring. You go to the Marine Ball, and how long did you serve, by the way?
Just 4 years. Just 4 year
Interesting.
contract. Yeah, and um, I think she started. She was fine. We were happy until we got some people interfering in our lives. I think there were more bad people, narcissistic people, and she was young and naive, and so a lot of the women that she worked with at the salon, her clients were narcissistic, and they were married to politicians and lawyers and judges and stuff. So uh, you get a lot of narcissism there, you know, and it rubbed off on her, and affected her and affected our relationship. And she started doing bad things, and doing just had like bad behavior, and it was upsetting to me. And she ended up stealing and embezzling money and from her boss that she worked for. That so it's just the dark triad. I'm talking about the dark triad: Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. Just people who don't self-reflect, and they get involved with just bad behavior, and to do whatever they want. Like these politicians, though. Like Democrats, they do whatever they want and get away with it. They can do
Oh,
whatever they want, and get away with it because they have money
I
and
know.
power and influence.
Hmm.
So the more money you have, the more you can get away with things. You know, and I study all these cases, all these high profile cases, and I break it all down specifically and narrow it down to how it happened or the trigger. You know, what triggered the person that did the terrible act. O.J. Simpson, Casey Anthony, uh, Jodi Arias. All these high profile cases. I kind of like dissect it. And that's what you should do. You should dissect it, and to understand how people get away with things. I call it buying time to get away with the crime. They try to figure out, how do I get out of this mess. So we need a false script. So you got to create a false script and stick to the script and try to manipulate, gaslight, and blame shift. Even get flying monkeys. To come to your rescue and lie for you and stuff. So, and that's what happened in my case. And here I am. I'm confused. I had no idea what was going on because she had her boss, and she had a lot of money and power and influence. So she did everything she could to keep Lorena from going to prison, and it worked. Because she had the power to do that. You know, it's like O.J. Simpson. He didn't he wasn't brought in for questioning for like 2 days. He was on the run and trying to figure it out with Al Cowlings and he met with his lawyers. They tried to figure out something out and how to get him out of this, two murders, So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I forgot
People.
about that.
Oh, forgot about what? OJ Simpson.
OJ, just the whole OJ thing, and I mean, I'm not too far from that whole area in LA when I'm
Yeah.
here, but it's a very eventful thing that people talk about, and I feel as though I just your situation, because so many other women have copied uh, things sort of like what she did. A woman once cut her husband's dick off and put it in a blender. Then, most recently, on a Korean TV series, it was actually a really well done series. The girl did the same thing. Then, because she was mad at the guy, she thought he was cheating on her, which wasn't even the case, by the way, in this story, that is. But it just shows us, I think it's really become a free for all. And you can't victim shame. It's not a victim shaming. It's just because someone has the penis doesn't mean that they're necessarily the wrongdoer. Now, with Jodi Arias, you brought her up. My theory on her is she really loved that guy, but the way he talked about her behind her back, he didn't take her seriously. He obviously mocked her and didn't make her feel that she was good enough. I don't side with her for murdering him. If it were me, I would have smacked him around a couple times, maybe punched him out. But I certainly wouldn't have gone to the extreme she did, which is pretty messed up. But it's an interesting case, to say the least. Now, getting back to your whole, how old were you when you were even married to this woman?
20, 22. I was
You're a
22
baby.
and she was 19. Yeah. Yeah. It happened
Oh my
it
God.
happened 4 years later after our marriage. So, um, yeah. She the main reason why she did it, Jodi Arias did it. You know, they're similar. I call it painful rain. Painful rain, which is rejection, abandonment, infidelity, and neglect. It's painful. It's the worst pain a woman can go through is that, especially rejection, especially infidelity. It just enough to drive a woman crazy. You know, it's nothing's more painful than that. Nothing is giving birth. Whatever. Nothing is because it's severe and it lasts a long time. That kind of rejection and infidelity and abandonment, especially abandonment's painful. And it's kind of probably hard to understand unless we actually been through it. You know, if you go through that type of pain. So I call it deep-seated emotional pain, and that's what she was going through because I decided to leave her because of 2 months of the silent treatment. And the reason why she was doing that is because I got a job working at a nightclub as a bouncer. And we were separated for a year, and I went back to New York, and I was bouncing at a nightclub, and she knew that I was dating college girls, and she didn't want that whole scenario again. So she wanted to say, okay, I'm not going to talk to you until you stop working at the nightclub, because I already had 2 jobs. This is the third one, and I'm trying to get us out of a 1-bedroom apartment.
Mhm.
So, um, anyways, that's what happened. She didn't want me to work there. She said she was going to spy on me. I said, go ahead. I'm right across the street. She gets out of work at 8 for the nail salon because she works in the daytime. I work at night. She can go there and have a cocktail, and but apparently, you know, the first night was our wedding anniversary. The night of the opened. It was the grand opening. And it was the same night of our anniversary, our 4th year wedding anniversary. And there were girls coming up to me, and giving me their phone number and flirting with me. So she may have been there. And this happened Friday and Saturday night. Grand opening the next night. So, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And there was a girl that hit me on my bicycle the morning of our wedding anniversary on my way to work in the morning. So I worked at this warehouse, and so I rode my bike. She ran over my bike and knocked me off my bike. This Asian girl, and she was kind of cute. So and I was leaving Lorraine anyways. I was leaving her. So she brought me to her house. Her and her mother bandaged me up, brought me to work, and says, I'll come pick you up after work. And her brother worked there. He worked at the same place I did. So, we um, she picked me up, brought me back to her house, and said, I'll let you use my bike until I get you a new one. So I had her girls 10-speed in my apartment all weekend. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe Lorena saw the girl's bike in our apartment, because she's not talking to me, you know, and I'm not talking to her. So one thing after another, because she was jealous and she was very possessive of me. She didn't want no one around me because she was always afraid someone's going to take me away from her. I was her prize, basically, and and she wanted her citizenship. She wanted a family, but I wasn't being compliant. I was doing things that like the nightclub. And now this Asian girl appears out of nowhere. She didn't know who she was. I didn't tell her because we weren't talking. She comes over and brings a new bicycle over in the parking lot of our apartment. She's upstairs. You can see it in the parking lot where she's hugging me and inviting me to her party. She's had a graduation party. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, bring your friend. The guy that came over to. So a lot of things transpired up to why she did what she did. All this jealousy and being overly possessive, and she didn't she didn't want a divorce. She wanted to stay married and become a
Mhm.
citizen and chain migrate, get her parents and her siblings here, and eventually, because of Janet, she was able to accomplish all that. But you know what? If I wanted to, I could still go after Lorena and put her in prison.
Mhm.
I could put her in prison because I have all the facts. I have the police report. I have my court transcripts and hers, and I'll bring it to court and let a psychiatrist and the proper justice. And then because the prosecutors left the window open, they only charged her with one thing, which was malicious wounding. But I can go after her for attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and perjury, because she and her boss and everybody that went on that witness stand lied, and that's up. This
Mhm.
is a felony case, so that's up to 1 to 5 years in prison. So if anybody was in her trial, would go to prison. I'd go in there because of what I've learned, because I studied law and all that. I could put them all away, all of them. What did I do? I didn't do nothing. I just wanted a divorce. I just wanted us to separate. Why didn't she just leave me alone? Let me go. I think the thing she wanted to hurt me or punish me for not doing what she told me to do. Don't work at the nightclub. So she gave me the silent treatment, which is narcissistic abuse, right? Silent treatment is a narcissistic abuse. You're not supposed to be silent with your partner. You're supposed to communicate. Never go to bed angry. You know, but you know, so you know,
I just wanted to plug in a quick word from one of our sponsors, which is one of my personal favorites because I am an avid beef eater. And I decided to start getting my stuff at freedomfirstbeef.com. It's got a shelf storage of 10 to 25 years. It's all freeze dried. It's a veteran owned small business. If you pop over to their website, freedomfirstbeef.com, and you use my code, Jasmin, you can get 15% off. Well, I think silent treatment, those are like the loudest words that you'll never hear. But you guys, it's something that's very
I am
toxic
here.
that not many people do, okay? Double silent treatment. Like, who breaks the silence? Like, who broke that silence when you had double silent treatment going at the same time?
I tried to talk to her and she wouldn't talk to me. So I was like, what do I do? Get divorced. Okay, she wants to get me silent. I'll just punish her right back. I'll punish her. We're getting divorced. She didn't want that. That's punishment for her. So
Well, yeah, it's her citizenship.
she's punishing me. I'm punishing her, and she broke the silent treatment because okay, I'm a happy guy now. I got my best friend. I'm working at the nightclub. I got two other jobs. I'm moving out. You know, I'm happy. So she's not. She's not happy. So um she said she'll move out. So this is her whole
Hmm.
game thing. So she's in control now. But she didn't move out. She's staying at the apartment. She's just pretending like she'll get a box and put some stuff in it. It was a one bedroom apartment. She could have been out one day, but she didn't. Wasn't. She was like 4 days. She was there, back and forth, wanting to know what was going on and what I was doing and this and that. So hey, well, get your stuff, move, or I'll get my stuff and move because I already had a place. I already had a house. So um, so she waited, and then I think it was Tuesday we went out um, all night. Me and my friend after work. Worked at the warehouse. We were unloading trucks, heavy boxes. Went home, and I got showered up and went to work. And my boss said that they were slow, so I didn't have to work that night. So I went back home, went across the street. So hey, Robbie, don't have to work tonight. Why don't we just go out? I'll show you around. So we both got cleaned up and we got out of there before Lorraine got home. So I didn't want no trouble. So I told him we had to get out of here before Lorraine got home. Lorraine got home. So we were gone. So we went to the club and had a sandwich and a beer, and then we went to a couple other clubs. They said that there was a live band at the Holiday Inn, so we went there first. But got there early, and they weren't there, so we left. And that was the big thing, the Holiday Inn. The Holiday Inn was
Really?
the Holiday Inn was the trigger. That was the trigger of the case. There's always a case. There was always a trigger in every case. You got to figure that
Uh-huh.
out, and I'll explain that later. But we went to a couple other places, and then we went to Denny's. On the way home, we had breakfast, coffee, and went home. We weren't drunk. There, we weren't drunk. They don't sell alcohol at Denny's, so they're trying to say we were, you know, like really drunk. We hardly had anything to drink at all night. Very little. But anyway, when I got home, we were exhausted. I just wanted to sleep. We're so tired. He went to bed, and I went to bed. I pulled up my clothes and all that. And Lorena's on the side of me. Uh, she asked me she asked me where I was, and I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping. I am sleeping. Okay. And she's asking me, and I'm like trying to respond, and I'm like, I'm so tired. So now I don't want to have a conversation. So I'm thinking, okay, one word answer. Long story short, I just okay. Well, Holiday Inn. I'm thinking of the first place we went to, and I said the Holiday Inn. That was it. So I guess she assumed because I was at the Holiday Inn all night having an affair with that Asian girl that gave me the bicycle. I think that she assumed because she made it understand that she said that I was having an affair. I wasn't having an affair, you know, with anyone. So I think that was the trigger. She thought I was having an affair at the Holiday Inn. So she went and got a knife, came back, and sat on the side of me and said, "You hurt my feelings. You did it again and again and again. Are you happy?" She's talking about abandonment. I left her
Yeah.
3 times. She's referring to abandonment. So I didn't respond, and she cut it off. She's working herself up to do it. She wanted to kill me, but she didn't want the responsibility of actually killing me, because it was a murder charge. So she wanted me to kill myself by doing that. It's kind of psychotic. It's like, well, really evil, malignant narcissist stuff. So she really wanted me to kill myself.
That's
So by the way,
freaky.
yeah, well, that's what guys do. They, you cut his penis off, they'll kill themselves, or they bleed to death. If I bled to death, it would have been a murder charge. If I killed myself, it would still have been a murder charge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I would have killed myself, she wouldn't have done it. But she didn't see it that way. Instead of, she didn't think it through. It's okay. Well, either way, it would still been murder if I died, and I wouldn't be able to stand up for myself. If I died, I wouldn't have been able to stand up for myself and tell everybody what happened. You know what I mean? Let's look at all the facts.
Yeah,
Look
but
at all the details. Okay,
well, you
they swept this under the cover. They swept this under the carpet. Let's lift it up. Let everybody see the true side of the story. You know. So now I can go into the courtroom and I can defend people. I won't let that happen. If you go to court and if anybody goes to court and wants me to expose the truth, I will. And I know how to do it now. And then if you understand psychology, and how people try to use the power and manipulation, cover up and blame shifting, gaslighting, uh, you know, all these different tactics that they use. I mean, there's different types of narcissists, from like 12 different types of narcissists, from mild to extreme. But uh, you can pinpoint, you know, who's lying, who's telling the truth, and hang on a minute, wait, let's look into it further. How somebody's you're having a conversation and somebody says something like, um, "There's a football game on tonight. You want to order pizza?" And they're like, "Wait a minute, we were talking about this topic, and then you just throw this into our conversation. It had nothing to do with what you're talking about. To try to distract you and basically figure out you know you're figuring out the truth, and you're exposing, you're getting to the point where you're going to expose the person. So if they throw something in the conversation, it has nothing to do with what you're talking about, to distract you from talking further. you know
that all makes sense. But you've mentioned a couple of things that I think people fail to, fail to understand in this. Number one, if she was that unhappy, okay, but if you were hitting her or whatever, and I've been in abusive relationships that were physically or emotionally abusive, what you do is you just go. Now, if she had all these friends, one of them could have taken her in if that was the case. So clearly, a green card or a citizenship is invaluable. There is no price you could put on that. So if you're gone, that's gone. That's off the table. So of course, I'm not sticking up for her. By the way, she's going to fight and do what it takes to try to keep that and have that that privilege, which she got in the long run anyway. But it's I mean, when it happened, I don't mean to re-traumatize you. When this happened, like, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
it's kind of like um, Johnny Depp. uh, the movie. Well, he was in the movie Nightmare on Elm Street, and there was a scene in
Yep.
there where he was in bed and he got pulled into bed. And it was all blood. I thought that happened to me. I thought when she did that, I thought Freddy Krueger had actually got me while I was sleeping. That's what I thought. I was 20. I was a kid, and that was big back then. I thought Freddy Krueger's hand with those blades came through the wall and cut my penis off. And I told my friend, don't don't make me fall asleep. Don't let me fall asleep. That's all I was worried about. Because I told him my wife, you know, you know, well later I told him my wife cut me, but uh, I wasn't sure whether if it was her or Freddy Krueger, and I didn't I just woke up. I was confused. I told him to let me fall asleep because he was tired too. And that movie was huge, about staying awake, you know, and that's what I thought. I mean, I thought that, I mean, how can this horrible thing happen? A horrible thing,
Yeah. Well, it happened. I
and
mean, it's sad that it happened, but
it's
people
like
aren't listening to you, they're listening to her.
I thought it was a horror movie, but it was reality. Wives with knives. There's a series called Wives with Knives. They get mad and they stab you or cut you. Yeah, it's
I see the look on my producer's face right now. He's scared. He's like, I don't know about this.
so like this guy was sleeping on his couch and his wife wanted to get pregnant and he didn't go to bed. So he was sleeping on the couch, and maybe it was a few nights that he was actually slept on. He fell asleep on the couch. She went in the kitchen, took a kitchen knife, and stabbed him in the head. So he had a butcher's knife sticking out of his head. He had to go to the hospital like that. They had to wrap him up with a knife sticking out of his head
Well, at least
because he
that's
wouldn't
what
go.
she tried to cut off. Because
So
I mean,
because
because that goes
Did
against trying to get pregnant.
Lorena did that
Huh?
to me. Lorena did that to me too because I wouldn't go to bed, and she got mad, and she ripped the covers off me while I was on the couch. Like, come on, I just fell asleep. You know, if
It
you were
sounds
with me,
torturous.
if you were with me, or if we were in a restaurant and you sat in the booth like across from us, she'd punch me in the face because you sat. You're a beautiful woman, and she'd just punch me in the face because she'd think that I looked at you, you know, and that's where she was. She was very possessive. She'd actually haul off and punch me in the face.
Well, she's
What was
Latina.
that
What do
for?
you expect? No, I'm joking. I shouldn't say that because not everyone's crazy. I'm like I would never go. I'm crazy, but I would never go that far as to harm someone. I've said some really horrible things to men in the past, but I never
Are
acted
you
upon it.
Italian or
I think the only thing I ever
are you Italian?
I'm part Brazilian, but
Well, she's from Venezuela, and Venezuela is like a poor country. It's like really poor, and it's
they're
like,
crazy.
and she wanted to get away from that. She came to America and visited, the states here, and, and she fell in love with the country, and she wanted to come back because I guess they sent her here for her birthday, and she went back home and she made arrangements to get her visa and go to her student visa and stay in the country. She worked as a nanny, and she went with her cousins to the Marine Corps ball because her whole plan was to stay here. You know, get find a Marine, get married, all that stuff. And I was the target. I was the target.
Yeah, and then some. Um, it seems as I mean, you seem like you're in good spirits about everything, and most people wouldn't be able to survive this. It's do you get recognized a lot, and do you have a hard time dating people now?
Uh, no, no. I got a lot of girls. You know, I haven't found. I think there's only one girl I really, really like. You know, I mean, I enjoy being with. like a life partner. She lives in Canada.
How old is she?
She's about 50.
That's too old. Hey, I know that a lot of you like betting on football and fantasy football, and also those cute other casino games. There is one place online that has the best lines possible, and every type of sport you could bet on. It's betonline.ag. So make sure you check out betonline.ag and play whatever you want to. Play fantasy football, play slots, play blackjack. They have something for everyone. betonline.ag. Because at your age, you should be dating girls that are like 18 or 19 right now. So then by the time you're 80 something, they'll be close. I don't know. I have this theory with my friend. He's like 50 something now. He said his future wife isn't born yet. So he went out on a date with a 23 or a 25-year-old. I told him she's too old for him because she is technically. Because by the time he's 80, it's like she's going to be closer to that. It's way too old. Yeah, I don't. I think your future partner isn't born yet. You give it a few more years.
Who do you date?
Normal people. Me? See, but it's
Normal
different. I can go
people.
out with older guys.
So you prefer older guys?
Not 80, not 70. Maybe if they're 95 and like ready to die and they have like no one on their will, then yes.
That's a
I'm joking. Um,
well, that's a what's her, Anna Nicole Smith, scenario. Anna
yeah,
Nicole
that
Smith.
was very creepy.
She's got $400 million.
Yeah, that was kind of. Yeah, I
She's
don't
got
know if she had
four
to
hundred
give it
million.
back. And speaking of 400 million, why don't you ever try to sue Lorena in a civil court or her girlfriend or whatever that thing was?
Oh, the boss. I don't know.
Yeah, could you sue them civilly possibly?
Yeah, yeah, defamation and all that. I definitely go after all that. But I don't know. No one really cares about the guy. It's like John Gosling. The Octomom. You know, he's yeah. They had a TV show called Octomom, and I don't
Oh,
know.
that woman, yeah.
Yeah, so she's all narcissistic. She did all the smear campaign thing. You know, that's like I don't think it's so. Yeah, I'm on your show and I'm talking to you about all the details of what would happen, but you know, I think they'll do anything they can to prevent me from talking. Lorena and her boss and the prosecutors. So they don't because I didn't know anything back then. I didn't have anything figured out. I had to dig. I had to go into the court and order all the transcripts and get the police report, and then figure it all out because it's all that manipulation, and you're confused. It's like what's going on here, and that's what narcissists do. And how do you escape the narcissist without getting hurt or killed? You know, how do you
Yeah,
escape?
they come after you somehow. They come after you. They
Yeah,
come
and,
after you
and, and
by whatever they can do just to stay in your life. Even if they're like long move on with kids and shit like that, they still try to do things to stay in your life because it's that bit of control. Taking your like cutting your manhood off is definitely trying to take away some form of control from you from like a future, having kids or, having a normal life,
well,
which is just it's sad.
the malignant narcissist wants to destroy you in any way they can, and they'll keep attacking you, and they want you dead. They want you dead. So you got to go gray rock. You know, gray gray rock is a psychological term meaning that you distance yourself and go no contact with the narcissist. So you try to get far away from the narcissist and don't contact the narcissist. That's called going gray rock. I moved to Vegas. I moved all the way across the country and went no contact for many years. 25 years I lived in Vegas and didn't talk to her or didn't do anything. I sent her some letters and tried to get some sort of closure or some sort of, something, something. But that was a long time ago, because I was confused. What happened about what happened to me, and I didn't have any answers. So I had to find out all the answers myself. But that was all Janet Masudi, her boss. That's who you got to go after. That's who want. That's the one who created the false narrative and protected Lorena. So how do you go to
Yeah.
Janet and say, well, what happened, Janet? She's not gonna answer any of your questions. She's gonna avoid it. You know that
I wouldn't want to
people don't
speak
want
to
to be
them
exposed.
anyway.
I talk to Lorena's mother. I mean, there's good women that will never lie. Lorena's mother would never lie, and her aunt, Irma Castro, she would not lie either. So those are women you would talk to get all the factual information, the truth, you know, and
Yeah, truth, logic, and common sense.
truth. I'm happy with my life. I mean, I just don't want to be around bad people. I just want to be around good people with have good souls. And you can lose
Yeah.
yourself. You can lose yourself and lose your soul if you're exposed to all the wrong people. You know, and I think that's important is keeping your soul, your mind, body, and soul healthy. And one of my famous sayings is, "The stronger a man's soul, the deeper he learns to love." So the stronger your soul is, the deeper you love. So is that what we should do? Should we learn to love deeply? That's what we need most
I
of.
know, right? We need more of that. We
Yeah,
need
get some
more
love.
people out there that
Give some love.
come out. We
Right,
need
Andrew?
we need to get Andrew's 100% behind you on this. We
My
need
my
more
son
people to
my
come
son's
out there
name's
and
Andrew.
stand up for those who've been wronged,
My
like
son's
somehow
name's
or
Andrew.
another. And
Oh,
clearly,
yeah.
you will, huh?
My son's name's Andrew.
What?
My son, his name's
Oh, okay.
Andrew.
So you actually have a kid.
Yeah.
Which marriage was this?
That was before Lorena. Wait,
Oh,
that's when me and Lorena were
got
separated,
it.
and she's one of the college girls. So, um, yeah, she it was my birthday, and I met. We were, I was bouncing at a nightclub, and we had an after party, and I was with this girl, and she got pregnant. I think the biggest thing we need to realize is that this is important. Um, it always starts somewhere, and I think what happened to me and Lorena wasn't our fault. It was because I was stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina in 1987. I was exposed to dangerous toxic chemicals that got in my body and caused a lot of neurological problems. So I wasn't myself, you know. So I didn't behave, like uh, a good husband. I wasn't there for her. I wasn't supportive. I wasn't loving. I wasn't the way a husband should have been. But I think what happened was that, which I got a big case now because of the chemicals, because it caused a lot of severe damage to me neurologically and physically. So I think that has a lot to blame for everybody who was stationed there because it affected millions, around 1 million people, and it's one of the largest water contaminations in U.S. history. So, because I grew up in religion, I grew up in a big family, and I was a good person. But when I then would join the Marines and was exposed to the chemicals, I think it really kind of messed me up, you know, neurologically. So I should have been there for her, instead of abandoning her, and I should have tried to work things out. But her parents weren't there, my parents weren't there. We were, and we didn't have our family wasn't there, so we didn't have a good support system. to help us out, you know. And we should have. We should have had, a support system. We tried, but we should have had, someone there for us, but we didn't.
Yeah, but you two are babies too. You're like two kids making adult decisions at such young ages, 19 and 22, you know? So take that into consideration. Don't beat yourself up so bad about it. Um, it's sad what happened, but you're out there doing your life now, and that's the most important thing. You're able to put your side of the story out there, and people deserve that.
Well, I said it takes two to tangle. I mean, there's probably a lot of things I could have done better as a man, you know, and be emotionally available, talk, communicate, you know. But I don't know, you didn't I didn't know a lot of things back then. You know, we all don't. I mean, we all. I mean, and that's why you need people to help you out. Good support system, family and friends that can help answer questions. It's like, or help you through troublesome times.
Thanks so much for talking to me. I know that we were trying to make this work for a while, and I certainly hope that no one no one prevents you from anything in the future that you want to do. So what we're going to do now is we actually have to hop off, but I appreciate you coming on today, John, and I promise you that I will get this out there as much as I can. And people don't always listen to what you think might be the truth, because things aren't always what they seem. I hope everyone learned something from part one of my part two interview with John Wayne Bobbitt. There's always two sides to a story. We've heard Lorena all the time, over and over and over. And here's his side of the story. And somewhere in between, there's always the truth. So a lot of people do come down on me for always taking the guy's side. But hey, guess what? In this day and age, there are a lot of men out there that are victims of domestic abuse. So if you really want to know what he went through and the aftermath of such a horrendous act, stay tuned for the real dirty stuff and part two next week.